To yet another video. Today I want to talk to you about Sex Education Season 4. Okay, Season 4. So let's get right into it. Season 4 was fun to watch, no doubt. But for me, I think there were things that didn't work more than things that worked. So let's get right into it. And I want to talk about things that worked first because let's get the positives out and then let's get into the negatives. First of all, I think the best thing that worked in the favor of the show was giving Maeve and Otis their due. I mean, it was 4 seasons in the coming and they finally gave us a proper Maeve and Otis storyline. Yes, I know a lot of people don't agree with that. At least they gave us some of it. At least they gave us a Maeve and Otis storyline. And I'll get into why I didn't like the Maeve and Otis storyline in the negatives. The second thing that I felt that worked really well was ending on a high note, especially with all the characters that were involved. Over the 4 seasons, we have had a lot of new characters come in and go. But in the case of Sex Education, we've had far too many character changes over the course of the 4 seasons that we've had. Like, so many of the first season characters are not there in season 4, and I kind of felt bad for it, but at the same time, I can understand why it happened. There was such a big long gap between all of it. That does play into the show as a whole, and that's why I think giving the characters that were there from season 1 to the end a good ending, a happy-ish ending for all of them, where the things are looking positive at the end of it. I especially enjoyed every scene that Adam was in, because for me his character growth from season 1 to season 4 has been brilliant, because I don't think any other character in the 4 seasons of Sex Education has grown as much as Adam has. I think Adam's father as well, his character has really been shown throughout, but I still think season 4's true hero has been Adam and how his character from season 1 has changed. The final thing that I really want to talk about that does work in the favor of Sex Education season 4 is dealing with a lot of serious topics with a lot of humor and how the characters deal with their troubles while keeping it lighthearted. There are a lot of characters that deal with a lot of trouble, especially Amy. Like, the first thing that comes to mind is Amy's troubles through season 2 and 3 and her inability to cope with the molestation that happened in the bus, and that kind of puts her off from riding on the bus. But at the same time, how they dealt with the story is very interesting to watch, and they did a good job with dealing with the storyline as well. Troubles that almost every character faces, even Otis faces a lot of troubles, and the way he deals with all of it, eventually coming to a positive end, that makes a lot of difference in how the characters are dealing with the issues, and that is something Sex Education has been doing really well throughout the 4 seasons. Now, in terms of what things did not work in the favor of the show was, one, I felt season 4 had far too many characters, and they could have honestly just reduced the number of characters and told us a more complete story. Far too many characters, far too many new characters in the story, and that kind of takes away from the characters that are already present. Although they've done a very good job with ensemble cast over the years, but still reduce the number of characters, man, and make a better story. Another thing that I genuinely felt that season 4 lacked was a focus in the season. I mean, personally, there was nothing wrong with season 4 as a whole. I had a lot of fun watching it, but the fact that it did not have a focus, the fact that they were telling a story that they just wanted to get done with it rather than a story that they could have told that would have made a lot more difference. In the first 3 seasons of Sex Education, there was a focus into why each story is being told, how it's being told, how it impacts every character. I was mentioning Amy's troubles and her molestation in one of the earlier seasons and how that was tackled, and it had a clear focus as to how it would be tackled, but each of the issues that were brought up in season 4 in every episode were magically resolved by the end of it, which does not make sense. It took an entire season for some of the issues to be tackled with, and that did not happen in season 4, so that kind of was a negative. Now, of course, not just the fact that there were far too many characters and they rushed through certain storylines, or they just magically solved issues randomly through the episode. What I really felt was an issue throughout was a lack of pacing in the show. Like season 4 felt hodgepodge. It felt like they just threw in something together just because they had to release season 4 of a show and not really thought it through. That kind of felt like you could have just ended in season 3 and got done with it, because essentially at the end of season 3 and at the end of season 4 we are left at the same point, and there are not a lot of things that change from season 3 to season 4 apart from maybe Ruby's character being much better. I mentioned Maeve and Otis getting their due. One thing that I did not enjoy about Sex Education and the writing was I felt Ruby and Otis and their chemistry was much better than Maeve and Otis and their chemistry. But hey, I'm not the writer, I wasn't writing it. At the end of season 4, we're left at the same point where we were left at the end of season 3, and that kind of felt a waste of season 4 entire 8 episodes, and we go nowhere. Overall, I would give it a 7 out of 10 because yes, it was a fun show to watch, but at the same time, it wasn't as satisfying as I would have liked it to be. Peace and see you in the next one.